What's up, y'all? It's your girl Nick Robinson with the Yara Effect again. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, share, do all the good things, and I appreciate you. All right, we're going to get into dating. Like, who doesn't like to talk about dating or hear about dating, right? So I'm recalling back when I was dating and the challenges that I faced. And one of the challenges that I faced was just not being in the right situations for what I was looking for. And I think sometimes, ladies, we just have to be assertive. We do. Don't be afraid of losing the wrong man. Okay? And that's something that, we as ladies, I think sometimes we think about that like, oh, if I lose this man, I won't be able to get another one. And so if you feel that way and you think that when you move that way, you won't. Men can sense desperation 10 miles away. They be stupid sometimes, but in that regard, oh, they know exactly who is desperate, who will do what, how far they can push you. And it's your job to make sure that you show them, listen, I'm not that one. Okay? Don't play in my face. But you can't say those things and then do the opposite. All right, I'm going to give you an example. So, say you have told yourself you're not going to get physical until a certain amount of time or until you see certain things out of the relationship, right? But he's so fine. He's so cute. He smells so good. You like being with him. He got a killer smile. You know what I'm saying? He is just so irresistible. So you fold. You ain't seen hide nor hair of what you require. And it's not like you have to tell him this, right? I think when it comes to that, you don't have to say, oh, well, we ain't sleeping together yet. Girl, don't you know that that's going to be his cue to make sure he sleep with you yesterday? I mean, honestly, because I know guys like a challenge, but you have to first understand what his intentions are with you. And believe it or not, they do say it. A lot of times they do say it or they do show it to you what their intentions are. And sometimes you have to look for it in what they don't say. It can be confusing. It really can. I know I used to be like, okay, well, he seemed like he liked me, and he can like you just fine. He can like you just fine, but that does not mean you're going to get what you want out of the relationship. And let's be clear, it should be a two-way type of exchange where he's not only just getting what he wants. Whenever you are always accommodating somebody even beyond your own comfort level, it's not going to feel good to you. It's not. You don't owe somebody that you just met anything except honesty. That's about all you owe them. You owe them honesty. You owe them authenticity. You owe them to show them who you are. And that's something that we have to do. We have to get out of being this perfect person trying to fit the narrative of what they may want out of a woman, and then months later, years later, you tired of that, and now you yourself. Don't start off doing some stuff that you know you're not gonna want to do, that is not you, that's not authentic to who you are. Just be honest. Just be upfront. You know what I mean? Honestly, I know the online dating thing is very popular now. That's how I met my husband. And I was just straight up with him. He was straight up with me. He told me on our first date, just be yourself. And I was thinking to myself, good, because that's all I was going to be. You know what I mean? But I'm glad he with it. So just be yourself. Be honest. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't sit there and be trying to make a square fit into a circle. Like, don't, it's not ever going to fit. It's not ever going to fit. You have to make sure that you are clear and that you set standards and boundaries and then you stick by them. To be honest with you, men do respect boundaries. They do respect standards. Well, now whether they're going to stick around or not, I don't know. And if they don't stick around because you are withholding your standards and your boundaries, let them go. It's okay. Guess why? Because you're making room for the right man. I remember when I was dating, before I met my husband, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do certain things. I'm not finna be being a wife to a man who ain't even made me their girlfriend. I'm not finna be over functioning in these interactions with these men. If I don't want to be physical, I'm not. I'm not going to be talked into it. I'm not going to be coerced into it. No, I'm not. Because at the end of the day, if you are not sure of his intentions for you, why are you opening your legs? Like, I think in dating a lot of times men and women's perception are different. Like, men feel like, oh, why am I spending all this money on this girl that I don't know? That's fair. Let's be honest, ladies, it's fair. Like, you know, why would he spend $300 and $400 on a date when he not even sure you really like him for real? Why would he do that? I'm not mad at him for that. I'm not mad at it. I'm not. Because if he's serious about truly locking in with somebody, he has to make sure that she's worth that she's worth what he has to offer. There are men out here that has more to offer than, a long, strong one, okay? They have that in addition to some other things. Let's be honest. But you have to get yourself in a place where you can understand who that man is. You don't have to give every single man that you date everything. You don't have to live with every last one of them. You understand? I know some women that every man that they talk to on even a kind of consistent basis, and when I say kind of consistent, I mean once a week, twice a week, you trying to do everything with that man. You trying to sleep with him. You trying to cook for him. You trying to watch his kids. You trying to move in with him. Girl, no. Stop. Just stop. Stop. Pause. You understand what I'm saying? And what I also want to encourage ladies to do is date around. And when I say date around, I don't mean sleep around. You don't have to sleep with every man that you meet. Contrary to what some people feel or think, you don't. If he is on some let's get in the bed type stuff and that ain't what you want, you don't have to do it. Because what ends up happening is you end up spreading yourself here, there, everywhere. You not getting anything out of it. You may be experiencing an orgasm. Okay, that's cool. But if that's not all you want, if you want more, you selling yourself short. It's time that we take responsibility for our part in the situations that we're in. It's an unpopular, commentary to hear. You may not like it, but if you can face that and you can understand that, then you won't find yourself in the same situations over and over and over again. You have to understand, how did I get here? What did I do? And what could I do differently? And there's nothing wrong with that. Take some time. I remember when I was like early off in my dating, like, after you leave your parents' house and you can do what you want to do and stuff like that phase. I was there. And before I got into another relationship, I hadn't really thought about what I did in the last one and what kind of guy he was the last time and what I need to do and what kind of guy I need to look for. I wasn't thinking about all that. I wasn't. When you young and you feel free and you like, oh, I'm at my parents' house and I can do what I want to do, that's cool. But it comes a time where you look back and you be like, dang, I wasted a lot of time. Dang, I just did not value myself the way I should have. Or, man, I wish I hadn't gone through that. And then you have to get out of that and say, okay, what can I do to make sure I'm not reliving this experience over and over again? Because in life, whatever you don't learn from the first time, it's going to keep beating you over the head every time until you get that lesson. Until you understand how to get beyond that point, you're just going to keep recycling experiences with different people. And I know that because I did the same thing. It was the same version of the same mess that I was dealing with until I understood that. And I said, you know what? Let me just take some time. And I took a lot of time. After my first marriage and then divorce, I took a lot of time to just work on me. First of all, I had to understand that I had not healed from any of the relationships I had been in up to that point. None of them. I had not fully healed at all. So I was just dragging all this foolishness from way back into every situation. And I gathered more and I gathered more and I gathered more. And I was like, wow, I really, really need to heal. I do. And I just took my time with it. And I sat with myself. And that's okay. Sometimes you need to sit with yourself. Sometimes you need to be by yourself. Sometimes your phone need to be dry. Sometimes you need to not have somewhere to go because it's all distractions. It's keeping you from where you can be healing. It's keeping you from where you can be growing. It's keeping you from where you can be elevating. Because who is tired of keep going through the same thing over and over again? You think because it's a different man that it's going to be a different experience. But you're no different. You're no different. You have to change too. You have to make sure that you are being true to your standards. What are your standards? Take some time to figure that out. It's different for all of us. We all have our different needs. We all have our different ways of thinking. So think about, okay, what do I need? What will I not accept? What won't be acceptable to me? Where are my hard boundaries? What am I okay with living with? Take that time. Do what you need to do. Understand yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, how can somebody else? If you don't understand yourself, then you can't function in your authenticity. And then you can't get mad at somebody else for not getting it. Like, a lot of our issues, drama, trauma, it would all be more manageable if we just take the time we need to heal. That's the word for today. Heal. Stop jumping from relationship to relationship, situationship to situationship. Stop it. It's not helping you. I think sometimes that ladies, we feel like quantity is how we get what we want. And it's not. You think if you date 10 men in a year that you'll find one that's worthy. I wish that were true. What needs to happen is you have to be more discerning. You need to be more discerning. If you've learned a lesson, then remember the lesson. If you've seen these traits before, it's worth it to pay attention and see if it's the same situation you've been in before you fully commit and before you fully put your everything into it. It's worth it to say, okay, I've seen this before. Is this the same thing? Am I going to go through the same situation again? And when you are in that moment, ask questions. Ask questions. And somebody who, let me say this real quick. If you are asking questions and he's not wanting to answer, or he's begrudgingly answering, or he's acting as if you're getting on his nerves by answering these questions, you may want to look at that and be like, you know what? I don't know about this situation. I don't know. Because I recall when me and my husband were getting to know each other, right? I had questions about some things from his past. And I asked him. And I asked him again. And I asked him again. And it wasn't like I was just badgering him. I don't mean be like boom, 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 boom with the questions. But what I'm saying is talk about it. Ask your questions. You know what I mean? And then at a later time when you guys are talking about something that reminds you of that, you know, keep it in your mental Rolodex and be like, oh yeah, when you had said X, Y, and Z, then what did you mean by this or whatever, you know? And if he is fine with answering your questions and, you know, with patience, he's telling you the situation and it doesn't change the story, the perspective, the gist of what he's saying, it's consistent, okay, you're on the right track. But if he's rude to you, if he says something like, why are you asking me all these questions? If he says, I don't like answering questions. If he says things like, that's my past, girl, okay, I'm gonna put you on a cautionary yellow light for this man. Seriously. One of the ways in which I was able to avoid being in multiple domestic violence situations, because I am a domestic violence survivor, was I saw the signs. If I saw the signs and traits of someone that I recognized from my past, I was like, you know what, I can't. I can't. And you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to explain to somebody why you just not feeling it. You can let them know. Be like, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think you're a bad person. I just think you're not my person. And that's it. But when you continue in a situation that isn't right for you, hoping that you can get him to change, or hoping that he'll realize your worth and all of this, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna get out of here. And I've talked to several men that are just friends, that I've never been in a relationship with, that I've never had any sexual contact with, that don't have anything to lose by being honest with me. Because I advise you to get you some friends like that, because they can give you perspective on how men think. Every man that you talk to, you ain't got to be in the bed with. Every man that you talk to, you don't have to date. Have you some male friends that's truly male friends, not no friends with benefits, not somebody that you want to sleep with that's your friend. I mean, like, just some cool guys, like some brothers, okay? And when I talk to them, they've all agreed with this perspective, that when men meet you, they put you in whatever their own little category is. But the categories are fun girl, like all I want to do is, fun, and the other F word, fun, the other F word, and maybe some food. That's it. You in that box. You ain't gonna get more than that. A lot of the times you may feel like you deviating a little bit from that, but you really not. It's just you're there. When he wanna, get him a good old meal, he may have you cooking it for him, or he may, go out with you and y'all pay separately, or he may front the bill sometimes, just to keep you stringing along, if that. Because, honey, I remember when I was dating, dudes wasn't even really buying you a burger. Like, they wasn't even like, they wasn't even giving you nothing. They give you their body, but that's about it. They give you a little bit of their time, and you gotta fight for that. It's terrible. Okay, so that's one category. The next category is you just a friend. He's not attracted to you. He have fun talking to you. He'll hang out with you. If y'all smoke, y'all do that. If y'all drink, y'all do that. But that's all you gonna be. You're gonna be the friend. So you got the fun time girl, you got the friend, and then you got the future. Now, when he see you as his future, it's certain things that he just not gonna say to you. It's certain things he's not gonna do to you. You ain't gonna worry about him being consistent. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to identify, based on how this man is treating you and what he's saying to you, where you fall. Are you the fun time girl? Are you the friend? Or are you the future? That's all I got today, y'all. I want y'all to comment, like, subscribe, share, all the good things. I appreciate each and every last one of you. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.